Hello guys and gals, me Mutahara, a little late at night, and if you're wondering why the lights are out, I'm feeling mighty comfy today. Comfy enough to be doing a little virus investigation, ladies and gentlemen. Today's virus is another ransomware, and I know before you think, Muta, another ransomware? Really? Didn't you cover a bunch already? My logic for this is similar to Deep Web. If it's different or interesting enough, I'll cover it. There's a reality to ransomware. It's one of the more popular types of malware out there, and it comes in many ways, shapes, and forms. You'd be interested in how many different vectors ransomware can spread through. But a lot of this stuff can really just be made by a scammer who downloads a malware codebase, puts a nice bit of icing on it, and scams old people into giving them a couple $100s. Those are the ones that I don't want to look at, and trust me, there's hundreds of samples of that out there that you yourself can try out and probably get bored with really quick, because they're not too much different than the other. Really what that comes down to is looking at the very crappy levels of ransomware and learning just exactly how to combat it as an educational tool. These ones that I like to look at are a little bit different. Now, as far as gaming-related ransomware has gone, we've looked at PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds ransomware, which forced players, technically, to play a game of PlayerUnknown Battleground, a very popular battle royale game right now, and unlock all their computer files. Now, when we looked at this virus, the reality was you could literally take MS Paint or Calculator, any random exe file, call it PUBG.exe, and the virus was lighthearted enough to let you just slide off and give you your files back. This virus today, however, is not so nice. Now, this virus is all anime related, and I know we've all probably asked the question, has anime gone too far? I'm pretty sure God himself or herself has asked that question many times. Now, I'm not a huge anime fan, I'm not a huge shoot-'em-up fan, but Tao is a very popular game when it comes to shoot-'em-ups or anything related. The last shoot-'em-up game I ever played was like Mobile Strike Force on the PS1. But Tao is a game that I played once, and to get haunted gaming footage at one point, and I remember recording multiple times and still getting crappy gameplay just because I wasn't good at it. Tao is hard, but it's not just hard, it's fucking mega popular. Heck, a long-running series to the point where the last actual announcement, the 16th game that's coming out, is 420. The announcement was at literally 420-2017, and I believe it's actually come out now. It's actually released last year as well too. So these games have been making it constantly, and they've been coming out on Steam, Tao's official site. The developers for the game are Team Shanghai Alice or Zunsoft. These guys have been making Tao forever, and it's not just a shoot-'em-up game. I found out that the Tao games have a plot line to it. It's been around since the PC-98, or at least in predecessor forms. This is a long-running franchise, and for good reason. The games are actually really good. If you're into shoot-'em-up games, and you get past the anime aesthetic, if you're not into it, you'll find out that these are some pretty intense bullet hell games. And for those of you who don't know what a bullet hell game is, it's a game where you have to shoot a bunch of enemies and survive actual bullet hell. Projectiles, a lot of micromanaging. Seriously, there are some people who Twitch stream this stuff, and if you're really into seeing some high-level Twitch stream version of this that blows your mind away, check it out. It's pretty interesting shit. But today we're looking at a virus all about Tao. This is called ransomware, a game that forces players to play Tao 12 and basically get a score of 200 million points on Lunatic mode, which is the hardest difficulty ever. It's hard enough getting anywhere close to that for me at normal difficulty, so add Lunatic mode, which increases cancer strats by 100%. You're not gonna win, dude. It's not happening. You're screwed. But I guess if you're good at bullet hell games, maybe it's not so bad for you. Jokes aside, it probably is. This game is really tough. So essentially what I did was I got the sample, I ran it on a KVM machine, and from there on in, we saw a level of viruses that, frankly, was kind of cutesy, but at least dangerous to look at. And compared to PUBG, this one actually has a lot of tricks up its sleeves, which made it a little interesting. So let's go check out the analysis, and I'll meet you after it. So here we're at the Guerrilla Style analysis phase. It's pretty late night. I've got my comfy Family Guy t-shirt on, so you know I'm feeling pretty comfy right now. Comfy enough to be starting some fucking ransomware viruses yet again. Now, I have this VM set up again from the PUBG days. Basically, I just reclone it every time I need to play a video game or actually run any virus. I know a lot of people are like, Muto, why do you go through the extra convoluted steps to do this? And again, I'll reiterate that I actually really enjoy doing stuff like this. And actually is my main Windows system, because when Windows starts to screw up or you start to get Windows rot, I just basically reset the VM anyway. So with that tangent out of the way, I had the sample of ransomware downloaded right here. Now, if you hit enter, you'll notice that Windows is actually calling out to you. Now, this doesn't happen too often. Well, it does, but if you have like recent malware, Windows probably won't even detect it. In fact, a lot of AV engines won't even find this stuff, but Windows is saying this will cause damage to my device-sensitive personal data, may also be at risk. Oh, do they know? But I'm going to hit run anyways and start to launch this kind of crap. And as you can see, ransomware is now launching, taking part of my computer, I guess you could say. And here we go. It started, ladies and gentlemen. So it's always a great thing when you have the sample fucking running. Now, your system has been encrypted by Rense. Okay, well, that's what's great about this is the UI is not coded to fuck. So you kind of have things cutting off all the way, shape, and sort. So let me actually look in. Oh my god, I'm dropping shit left and right. So hold on, let me zoom in for a second. It's a really tiny text. But what the hell is it? This thing asks, with this cute anime thing next to it. Minamitsu, the Captain Murasa, encrypted your precious data like documents, musics, pictures, and some kind of project files. It can't be recovered without this application because they are encrypted with highly strong encryption algorithm using random most likely. How can I recover my files? That's easy. You can just play Taoha 12 Undefined Fantastic Object and score over 0.2 billion, so 2 million, base 200 million, in Lunatic level. This application will detect TH12 process and store automatically. Do not try cheating or terminate this application if you don't want to blow up the encryption. Okay, so right here it's looking for the TH12 process status. And it's looking for TH12 and decryption not approved, things like that. So I actually have to score, I guess, or start it up. Now, one thing to note above the PUBG virus that we looked at a while ago, this one, well, not a while ago, but the PUBG virus that we looked at a long time ago, that one just required you to have any file name with a string PUBG.exe in it. You could start calculator and be fine. But here it actually started up, the TH12 process is running, the game has detected it. Score TH12 not started. But we're going to go to game start and we're going to set this to lunatic mode. So here it is. You can see the process working right there. I'm actually going to leave it running right there. So you can see the process is currently active and alive and well. Now, I'm not too good at these games, so let that be a fair warning. I haven't played a shoot 'em up game since Mobile Strike Force from the PS1 days. So please excuse my awful gameplay in light of all this. So let's hit start and get into the meat and potatoes of this experience. So over here, I'm going to start this game up, sort of see what's going on over here, and start the shooting, start the fiascos, and it's not too, okay, now it's starting to get pretty bad, okay, now I've already died right there. So we're getting some score over here. I've got about 5,770, a far cry to go from 200 fucking, oh my god, how was I supposed to do that? That thing fanned everywhere, dude. Oh my god. Holy shit, you know, if you're a god of these games, you're gonna be just fine. So anyways, I fucking completely died. And one thing to note, it's not really oh wait, no, it is detecting a score. So as you can see, my score is actually building up in the game real time and being sent over to this process right here. Again, all of it is pretty interesting shit, I gotta say. It is working out just the fucking way I expected it. So good shit over there, but I keep dying anyways. Unfortunately, I'm not going to get good at this game in any way, shape, or form. That's just not happening. But let's see what actually got sort of captured by this. So one of the text documents that I made, which was actually just copying down URLs of scam websites, got turned into something called ransomware. Now, I can't turn this file back to a TXT file and call it and just start running the application. For example, if I do copy, and first of all, let me close the game. We don't need this right now. But let's assume that I made a copy of such a file, right? If I went to this copy and I just, moved it back from ransomware to text and opened up the thing, you can see that it's all completely encrypted and garbled up. I can't get access to anything over here, which means that it has actually encrypted your files down completely. And even if you try to do some crafty shit, you're still going to need the program to unencrypt your files. That's a problem with a lot of these ransomware things. Because they use pretty much AES 256 encryption, you're not going to get access to your files anymore. If I start looking into these things, you'll notice that even zip files, ransomware files, they've all turned into ransomware files.
if I go to my task manager, one thing that we're going to start looking at real quick is that if we look into the process list, you've got the ransomware application basically hogging up space. I assume you can't even really turn it off at this point. As you can see, you can't terminate the file, and you probably don't want to, just due to the fact that if you do it, you might actually lose access to all your files. I think that's how the application really works. So I'm going to try to do some things. I'm going to try to see if I can maybe run Cheat Engine and see what this is going to do. So if I fire up Cheat Engine, which it doesn't seem like this is detecting, I'm going to try running Taohao really quickly. You don't want to run Taohao you don't want to run Cheat Engine after you run Taohao because the game actually does crash. So I'm gonna try seeing if I can modify my score to get unblocked access to this kind of stuff. So let's go to Game Start, go to Lunatic Mode, hit Start on one of these. I don't even know what I'm accepting really, but let's get a quick score and notice that our score is at 80. So I'm going to try looking through memory. I don't know if this game uses encrypted memory addresses, or it hides the memory away to prevent it, because there's been like, what, 15-something Taohao games? They probably know exactly how people hack anyways. In fact, Cheat Engine was made for this kind of shit. They probably have planned the stuff out ahead of time, so I'm not going to win in any way. But I'm going to assume that if... So now it seems like trying to find the memory addresses of your Taohao files, trying to find the memory addresses of that score was a little off. I don't understand exactly how the game stores its memory. I feel like it's calling it through like 3 or 4 different memory paths. There's definitely some form of masking going on to hide the score value. But if you're an expert at Cheat Engine and you're an expert at disassembling this kind of stuff, then modifying your score might actually prove healthy. Because the thing about ransomware is it's not exactly detecting if Cheat Engine is running. In fact, it hasn't really done anything for me doing anything Cheat Engine related, and Taohao itself hasn't done anything. Now, I've noticed that when I run Taohao, Cheat Engine will obviously crash. So for example, I'll show you real quick. If I go to, if I open up the game first, right, and start up the actual application, what's interesting to note here is that if after I've done that and I open up something like Cheat Engine, this will actually, oh, it hasn't crashed the game at all. That's weird. Usually it does. Hold on, let me try going Game Start real quick and show you guys what I mean. So if I go to normal mode and just start the application real quick, of course the memory address is not telling me that I have lunatic level. But if I go open up Cheat Engine at this point, it should have, yeah, see, it actually did do a crash. So there is something in the game programming that is detecting you from doing it. But as far as ransomware's hack goes, it does not detect anything with anything of the sort. So my logic would be is if you have Cheat Engine installed, hopefully you should have it installed if you're, if you're doing this kind of stuff, or by whatever reason if you have it, you could theoretically change the memory address. So maybe this couldn't detect it. Of course, I don't know the source to ransomware myself, so maybe there is a function in there that detects if Cheat Engine is running, basically fuck them over as soon as they've changed the score or something. But for now, ransomware does seem to have a little bit of a bug out of it. That being said, ain't no fucking way your boy's getting 200 million on a goddamn Taohao game on lunatic levels, okay? So for now, this computer is totally compromised. But as always, being a VM that it is, I'm going to send this to the god of the recycling bin, where it will be treated to a lovely deletion spree. And with that, let's go back to our main video.
My oh my, ladies and gentlemen, that was quite the analysis phase. Now, I've did a couple things in that, and for the most part, some of my analysis, at least my interpretations of what you could do to help yourself out in this situation, I feel are still pretty valid. Now, what had essentially happened was this game was actively looking for a process file. Unlike PUBG's ransomware, which is just looking for a name, this actually really knew the process that it was going for. It knew it down to a header level, and you actually had to be playing this game. You couldn't fake it. Or at least if you tried, you'd still be screwed because the ransomware itself was looking into the memory address for the score. If you looked at how I was getting the score in the game versus how it was displayed into the ransomware, it was actually looking at a live snapshot of the memory address used to store the actual score value of my game in real time. So whatever I was getting in the game was being actively analyzed by this ransomware. Now, there was source code analyzed by actual malware labs out there, and most of them did actually realize that that this was in fact not just hooking onto the game itself, but actually scanning for a memory address. So because the fact that Tauhao's ransomware or ransomware wasn't actually looking for a memory address, at least in my opinion, it wasn't looking for the memory addresses or the header values of any cheat engine type program, I still argue the fact that if you took this game, Tauhao 12, ran it into a debugger in real time, you could theoretically just find the score value or the memory address of that score value and call it a day just by changing it. But again, I think that Tauhao 12 sort of combats this by encrypting at least its memory values of the score address. I feel like after 11 games, this cheat engine stuff probably was already detected or rooted out ahead of time by the Tauhao Team Alice team whatever. And because of that, they probably dealt with encrypting their score values or hiding them in pretty complex ways so that you couldn't easily access them. There had to be some work involved. But if you're good at your assembly, and if you're good at finding memory values and, well, making trainers in general, then I guess trying to get yourself out of ransomware isn't too difficult. What is true is compared to PUBG, ransomware is actually pretty dangerous. You can in fact lose your files. Shutting off your computer, I'm pretty sure you have lost your files in every way, shape, and form. Ransomware takes a fucking giant firm grasp of your computer's balls and prevents you from getting your files back. So again, this cute little anime game has completely taken over your files, and in order to unlock it, you have to get an ungodly high score. I mean, it might as well have made it a complete billion at this point. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna back out of this ransomware. I've sent that virtual machine to the gods of the recycle bin, where it is being shredded up as we speak. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike if you dislike it. Let me know what you think about this virus in the comment section below, and any kind of virus you'd like to see next. I've got a couple things in stock for the future, but hey, any viewer suggestions is totally fine by me. That being said, it's a nice cozy night. I'm going to sit back, relax, probably play some Metal Gear Solid 2. This is me, Mudahar, and I am out.